Hello, hello, hello.
I didn't hear you.
Hello.
Ha-
Hello. Hi, Diane.
Howdy, howdy.
Okay, wait. Do you hear me?
I'll keep yours on. Good.
Okay. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started. Mr. Kobe, I see your facial expression. Should I wait? Okay, gotcha. So we'll get started in just a second. Thank you all for joining, and this should be a quick meeting.
Just really quickly, if Miss Fambro, if you're in the same room with Miss Shea, when one of you is speaking, the other needs to be muted because your microphones are picking each other up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, you gotta go on mute. What about now?
Much better, thank you.
Okay. I appreciate that. Okay, so good afternoon. Well, good evening. Welcome to Hollis Innovation Academy's Go Team meeting. We will follow the agenda as it has been publicly noticed. I'm pleased to call the meeting of the Hollis Innovation Academy's Go Team meeting to order at 5:04 p.m. Our first order of business is to call roll and review our norms. The secretary will now take the roll, but I don't believe the secretary is here. I'm going to double check before. Okay. And so I will play the role of the secretary and take roll. Principal Shea, Carla Moore, Billy Walker, Monica Taylor,
Here.
Chelsea Baker,
Present.
Javier Torres,
Here.
Aisha Fambro, that's me here, Mario Hicks, Sherry Bilal,
Present.
Latitia Green. She is running late. She'll be joining. This team will only be able to take official action if a quorum is present. I have to ask myself, is there a quorum present? And I believe it is, right, Ms. Jacoby? Okay, so it is. So I will answer as a secretary and say, yes, there is a quorum present. All right, so now our first order of business is to approve today's agenda, and it's very, very brief. It is short, so I'm going to click the direct link that's already posted on our website and just go over today's agenda. So, of course, we always go over the approval of agenda, approval of previous minutes. We're going to go with the final budget recommendation. We're going to present the final budget recommendation. We will vote on it, and then we'll have a principal's report, the community advisory team report, and possibly the committee reports if we have any updates about like the school uniforms and things like that, and public comment. But I've already checked public comment, so we can check that off. We have 0 comments, so that will not be taking place today. May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Motion.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. We will now review and approve the meeting minutes from our last meeting. Here they are. Give me 1 second to load them. And of course, we'll vote on if there needs to be any corrections. So we took form, we went over the agenda, went over the previous meeting minutes, as we always do. We talked about the budget choices and parameters. And everything is here. I won't insult your intelligence. I'll just scroll slowly for you to review it. If you need any more time, please let me know. Okay. If there are no further corrections or any corrections, may I have a motion to approve the previous meeting's minutes?
Motion to approve previous meeting minutes.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions, please identify yourself or raise your hand. All right. So of course, we're going to go over our norms as we always do. As a reminder, this is a meeting of the GO team. Only members of the GO team may participate in any discussion. Any members of the public present are here to quietly observe. We will always follow the agenda as noticed to the public and stay on task. We invite and welcome contributions of every member and listen to each other. We will respect all ideas and assume good intentions. I just wanted to just clarify that we did not have any. Sorry, I don't know what's happening here. Okay, we did not have any responses for the public comment, so we will be moving forward. It said 0 responses for March 12th, 25. All right, so as you know, we've gone through all of these steps. It may not seem like it because the meetings are so spread out, but we are now at step 8 where we will be finalizing the budget. And so just wanted to let you know, we've done all of these things. So what is the meeting for today? It is called the budget finalization meeting. What we'll be doing is reviewing all components of the budget, which should be updated based on the feedback from the cluster superintendent and key leaders. After review, the GO team will take action, which will happen today, on the fiscal year 26 budget. Why are we doing this? Well, principals have to present the final budget recommendations for GO team approval, and all approval meetings must be held after the staffing conferences, which have already been done. Budgets must be approved by March 14th. So today affects Friday. All right, and Principal Shea will be taking it from here.
Good evening, everybody. From the last time we all talked, there were no other changes made to the budget draft that we discussed in our last meeting, but we will take a moment to review the budget presented to you last month towards the end of this meeting. Actually, it'll be attached to the end of this meeting. This is our budget by function. This is kind of the final budget that that I had to present last week during the staffing conferences. 75 of our FTEs are going towards instruction, which accounts for almost $9 million of our budget, which of course is teachers and things that impact instruction. The other things, media services, staff instructional staff training, which we have not allotted money for. At this point, we're going to use the trainings that the district offers us, and there will be many. Maintenance and operations, and transportation. Transportation has a budget of $20,204, and I don't think I had any say in that whatsoever. Media, $149,000. Improvement of instructional services, $608,000, almost $609,000. Again, I think the next slide will show how much we spent on instruction and pupil. There it is. So we are at 75% of our money was spent towards instructional. The other large percentage was, 8% towards pupil services. So that's about 83% of our budget has gone towards teaching and learning. The others are tiny pieces of the budget. 5% went to improvement of instructional services. The blue is 1%, and educational media services, school administration, 8% of our budget. Maintenance and operations, 3% of our budget, and transportation is right there at 0% of our budget.
So now, as you've had the final budget that has been approved, it is now time to have a discussion around any concerns or questions that you have or suggestions. So we will open the floor to any point of discussion, if you will.
If there are no questions, and you certainly can ask one, but I'll give you sort of a summary. Hold on, I'm talking and hold on. I'll give you a summary of how everything kind of panned out. At the end of the day, there were 17 staff members that were impacted by the $3 million loss we took this year. That was 5, 6, 7 teachers, that was coaches, that was an assistant principal. It was a lot of people. And last week it was spent by me letting those people know that their positions were abolished. There's no words to tell you how hard that is for somebody to do. And 17 people, I mean, I've been in many schools and I've never had that happen to me. But the budget, the way it was, I mean, for lack of a better word, slashed, really had to be streamlined. And my goal, the goal of my team, the goal of my cluster superintendent was to keep as much of that budget in instruction and students as possible. And I believe we did a pretty good job of that. But it was a terrible thing to have to try and do. Our enrollment will fall again next year, supposedly. If it comes back up, then we will earn people back. But that we won't know that until we're at least 10 days into the school year next year. So that's kind of how things played out. If you have any questions about that, I'm happy to answer them to the best of my ability.
All right, we're just gonna do a last call for any questions. Remember, this is our time to discuss anything. Even if you want to give a compliment. She did mention that most of the budget has been for instruction.
Also, they would I guess they would have to apply to other schools, right? For jobs. In this case, no more jobs in the building, obviously.
Yeah, right now there's not. I mean, here's the other thing, Ms. Balil. When the contracts go out for the teachers that are still here, they can sign them, of course, and they still have till June 1st to get out of their contract. So we're not going to really have a clear picture of if we do need anybody, unless people choose not to sign their contract and say, I'm already going somewhere else. And that's great. And that way we can open the door to either bring somebody back. But at this point, our student teacher ratio, which I believe can be 24-1, is nowhere near that. We still have small classes next year. We still have the services that we've had before. We've just lost some people that really we had 5 people doing a job that was very similar, and we still have people that are doing those jobs. We just don't have as many. So we don't have a lot. And yes, it happened at all the schools. I can't tell you that it happened as deeply as it happened here, but I know everybody had cuts. Everybody had to have conversations like I had to have.
How many students we currently have now?
About 610 right now, but that fluctuates daily. We get some babies and we lose some babies, and it's a constant ebb and flow. But I believe we have a little over 600 right now.
I have a question regarding the cuts. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm in my car. I'm sorry. Are those cuts the same way we had $3 million cut out of our budget? Are those cuts happening in the charter schools as well? And I'm asking that question because I know at one of our budget meetings, we saw some numbers. Me and Ms. Fambro were on that meeting that we had during our snowstorm, that we lost about 200 children to charter schools. And I know they keep saying enrollment is going down, but what happens the same way we're making cuts? Are they making cuts as well in charter schools? And what's the possibility of those students having to come back to their home schools? And if those students are coming back to their home schools, our numbers are going to kind of balloon. And I don't want it to be a situation where we're kind of caught off guard and we're understaffed. Because the same way we have to make cuts, they're probably having to make cuts as well. Less staff means they can't accommodate that many children. So my question is are the charter schools in our area making the same cuts as we are?
It
Give us just a second to set back up, y'all. We literally just got back on our computers.
Okay, y'all.
I made you a host, and I'm about to pull up the
Yep.
presentation. Actually, Principal Shea, you want to come over here? We can just do it from right here.
Okay,
Instead of doing all of that.
that'd be fine. Coming over.
Give
Yeah,
me one
then-
second. And I think Miss Baker, you had a question, but before we get to you, I think Miss Jacoby had something to say.
Somebody else was asking a question right as you guys lost power, and I cannot remember who it is. And hang on a second. You might want to send a quick, let me send a quick email to the team
Okay.
telling them that power's back.
Okay. Can you make me a co-host so I can share when you get a chance?
Yeah, no problem. There you go.
And as Ms. Jacoby is sending that email, I just want to say thank you all. This was not by choice, but I appreciate you all joining back so that we can get this done. I think we were here, and I know Ms. Baker had a question, and yep, your email just came through. So do you want us to wait, Mr. Jacoby, or keep going?
Well, you can't take a vote because right now you don't have quorum. You need one more person for quorum.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that like Miss Belil, if you have anybody's phone numbers and can text them to come back.
Mr. Torres just on here. Where did he go? Okay, one second.
I'll text Miss Belil.
And I texted Mr. Torres to let him know.
Thank you.
Because we want to make sure that you guys can complete this process.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Ms. Blau did email literally about 3 minutes ago and said, can we vote by email? So she's probably checked out, but hopefully we can get her back on.
I'm calm.
And the answer is no, you cannot vote by email. Open meetings.
So Mr. Torres should be joining soon. Once he joins, will we be fine, Ms. Jacoby? We have Ms. Green, Ms. Baker, Ms. Taylor, Ms. Bilal, and then Torres is literally joining and he's taking them. There he goes.
There we go. Yep, you are good to go. As soon as you got that fifth person, you are back. You are good to go.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
All righty. So I believe we left off interrupting Ms. Baker, but again, it was not on purpose. So I definitely want to apologize, but also thank you all for rejoining. So Ms. Baker, you can go ahead with your question. Principal Shea is literally sitting right next to me. It's just sometimes it's hard to catch two people with a background.
Okay. So my question was just about the charter schools in our area. I know when we had that the little retreat that we did for Go Team, and I know you were shocked and I was shocked as well. We learned we lost about 200 students to charter schools this year. And my question is, since we are having such heavy budget cuts at Hollis, is that also happening in our charter schools? And is that going to inadvertently affect our enrollment in any type of way? Because I feel like if we're losing teachers and staff members, they probably are also. And what would happen if our numbers would kind of balloon as opposed to drop because of the influx of charter students coming back to their home schools. So I was just trying to, I don't know if you guys probably have a wider view of budget than I do. But I'm just, I'm a classroom teacher myself. So I'm always looking out for us. And, we say that the numbers are still going to be low, but we can't really predict what school is going to look like next year. And that's just the climate of, it's just the tale of the times.
That's
So
true.
what does that look like for Hollis teachers as well as Hollis students?
I know that the budgets are set by the state for the charter schools, so it's something I couldn't really address that way. I can't imagine that everybody's not having some budget cuts though, just in terms of what's going on. And Atlanta with $100 million worth of deficit, we knew we were going to have to pay for that. Now, if we balloon up, if we get we get the 10-day count, which I think last year they put off to like the 15-day count. We'll get teachers. We will earn teachers back. And that means we'd have to hire teachers if people were already employed. But I can't really tell you. I can tell you that if we get a bunch of kids, we will get teachers. That much I do know. We'll earn teachers. We'll get money back into our budget because with children comes money. So, but I can't tell you that how that's going to look and when it will happen, but I know it will happen if we, even at the 10-day count, schools earn teachers. We lost one this year, but some schools earn them. So, and those teachers get placed. So I would like to think that we're going to gain some children back, but I don't know. I mean, our enrollment is so fluid, as everybody that works here knows. I mean, we have kids, we have 5 enroll one day, and then we have 3 withdraw. And so, I got no good answer for that, except that those budgets are set by the state. But I can't imagine that they weren't impacted with budget cuts as everybody else was.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any more questions? Discussions around the budget? That was a great question, by the way, Ms. Baker, about what would we do with an influx. So I would a little more and then we'll move along to vote. All right, it is time to vote. I will now entertain a motion to approve the budget as presented by Principal Shea.
Motion to approve.
A second.
Second the motion to approve.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed, please say nay. All righty. Well, the budget has been approved. Right, Ms. Jacoby? All right, so we took action here. So now we will be moving forward. Sorry, I'm kind of a little out of order right now because of the power. But we will now move to our information items. And first thing we have is a principal's report. And the thing she will discuss is kind of on the screen, but she'll just go into detail. I think you already talked about staff.
I did. So the next thing coming up here at Hollis is map testing. It'll be our 3rd round of map testing. It will give us some good predictions for Georgia milestones, which will pretty much follow map testing in late April. Map testing starts next week. It goes for about 2 weeks because we stagger it and we do it by grade levels. And then GMAS, of course, will start at the end of April. I want to say April 28th, but I could be wrong. And that will go into the first 2 weeks of May. The cluster, did anybody attend the cluster meeting? We have a cluster representative and I think it's Miss Taylor, but I'm not sure. Let me look. I could be wrong. Moore. It's Carla Moore. Carla Moore. Is Carla Moore on tonight?
No.
Okay, I'm sorry, I had to get up. So the cluster had the cluster report. We don't have one. Ms. Moore was not here. I do have one in my email I can go get if I need to. And I will. So you can
just print it out. One second.
Sorry. Ms. Moore is not here. I do have something that they emailed me and talked about the agenda. I know they talked about some facilities issues that are coming up. I don't have a lot more information than that. I don't even know that we had representation at that meeting, but that's just, I mean, we know that the cluster meeting is an informational meeting and one thing that seemed to be at the top of the list was facilities. And I know that they're talking about down the road, things that are happening. Right now, we're not doing anything for next year. We're having school business as usual, but enrollment has to be discussed. And that's district wide because enrollment is down. And so they're going to be looking at schools and how many kids are in those schools and how that's all going to be impacted down the road. But I don't have anything else. I did not go to the cluster meeting and Ms. Moore is not here tonight.
All right. Thank you, Principal Shea. We'll now move on to announcements. Here's the declaration form for anybody who wants to declare their candidacy again. So, and it's also, I think it's been emailed to us as well because I got an email about it. So search your emails and here's the link if you want to like take a picture, screenshot, whatever you want to do with that. And yeah, thank you. We've reached the end of our agenda. Is there any
Short
additional?
meeting. I'll say short meeting.
Yes, well, short meeting,
shorter.
except for a power surge. We are having Family Fun Night again on March the 26th. And we said there were flyers, I believe, that went home today with the babies. And so please put that on your calendar, parents, to come. I believe we're going to do dinner and a movie that night. So that's March the 26th.
Spread the word.
More information to come.
And we will be sharing this presentation. This is the appendix, just has the last presentation with the budget and all of those things, which we've gone through this already. So I'm not going to go through all of them. There was a lot of slides, but we will be sharing this PowerPoint at another time. But again, we've reached the end of our agenda. If there isn't any additional business at this time, may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
A second?
I second the motion.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye. All opposed?
Aye.
All right, meeting is adjourned. Y'all have a good day. Again, thank y'all for rejoining.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.